Hello, welcome to Fox on Gaming. And right now, I'm just going to show you guys how I won my GT7 daily race, the competitive ones in GT7. And yeah, it's been a very long time since I played this game, probably more than a year. But still, after 3 or 4 attempts, though I was not in a particular form of race pace, I still made my way to first and won the game. So yeah, I will just be talking over it, and also will be giving you some tips and tricks that you could maybe try to apply in yourself in your own gaming time and see if it works for you. So yes, if first of all, if you are new to this channel and this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, do check out my other ones and please do subscribe. I will be uploading more of GT7 live streams, some funny ones and some serious ones as well, and more videos to come. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, do subscribe, support my new channel, and yes, thank you for that. And yeah, now let's see how did I win this race, even though I was not in a very good pace in the race. I would say my tip number one is relax. I mean, I did not give the best of my qualifying time trials, but I just took the 5 minutes that I had to just relax in this place, because yeah, racing sometimes is a bit mentally, it's you need to play some mental games while you're driving. It's not just you just squeeze the throttle and the brakes and you win. You need to have some kind of mental capacity to play it and to plan it, to strategize the race and react to what's happening before you. So it's always good to have some relaxations between the race. So if you have a decent qualifying time, I would say just don't do any more of it, but use that time to relax between races. And yeah, if you want to use the toilet or drink some water, so that's my first tip, because that's what I literally did before this race. The ones before this one, I did perform better, but I did not strategically do well. So yeah, I would say my first tip is relax between the days, because yes, sometimes it can be a mentally demanding to drive a race, and you can't pause since it's online, it's competitive. And yeah, so that would be my first tip. So as you can see, I qualified P10 here, which is not a good place to be, but yeah, I just went for it. And yeah, we are doing a race in Mount Panorama in Australia. This track is so narrow, it's so vicious if you don't have people who respect each other and crash into it. So I'm starting from P10. I have a very decent qualifying time. Like I said, I didn't fully send it because I can't fully send it because I'm playing this game for a long time, after a long time, like maybe a year ago. So this was my first day in a year or a year and a half. And right now I have a Supra that I'm using. So that's the new Toyota Supra that I take for this track. This car has a good top speed overall and also a good control in the corners, but yes, it has a very horrible oversteers if you if you are a bit stingy in the throttle in the corners. So yes, this is it has an Achilles heel. As you can see, I almost over steered there. But yes, now we start the race. There's a guy who was just idle there, so we gained P9. And yeah, that was my first tip, is to relax. My second tip is that never be a hero in the first corner of the race, because people, especially amateur ones, someone who plays casual, is like, yeah, just go full on in the first corner. But that's the second tip that I would say: never be so adamant in the first corner. Take the first corners quite simply and just react to what was happening before me. So now this is a very narrow track, so what I did here mentally is that I just wanted to have some space. So already you can see the guys in front of me, they're just hitting each other and ramming into each other, and they're losing time, taking damage and stuff. But yes, I'm just maintaining a healthy gap between them. So I just want to see how this race unravels. These three guys are going crazy, as you can see in front of me, but I'm just taking it easy. I'm not even here, I didn't try to overtake. There was a guy who overtook me and I was fine with it, because this is just the first lap. So relax yourself in the first lap, get used to the grips, the tires, and see what's happening in the track. This guy just went wide right now, and the other guy in front of him has a time penalty. So it's all good, all right? So never be so stingy in the first lap. Take it easy and just react. And as you can see, there's a lot of crashes going on. I didn't even ram into this guy because it's okay. First lap, take it easy. And here is where my race kind of got messed up. because the Porsche behind me just hit me in the ass and I just went all over, and yeah, I lost some of the position. I had a very horrible start in the straight, and even my rear, as you can see in the bottom left, is damaged. But yeah, I'm just holding there because it's just first lap. It's still alright. So I'm just right now going on, and as you can see, those two guys are just hitting each other and rumbling. That's the position where you shouldn't be. And I kind of messed it up here. I was just looking at what was happening in front of me and just having fun looking these two guys fighting, that I went into the grass. So that's my tip number 3. Never ever be distracted with what's happening before you or behind you. Always focus on what corner you are, what speed you're going, and react accordingly. So yes, I made a big mess, and because I went into the grass, I even have a hint of oversteer there when I try to turn. And yeah, even when I make this turn that's coming up right now, I will be making a oversteer situation here as well. So as you can see, yes, I had an hint of oversteer there, and there's a Ferrari that's catching me up, and the Ferrari, as I know, has a good straight line speed. So that's the beauty of Gran Turismo. GT7. All different cars have different advantages and disadvantages. So Ferrari, as you can see, is catching up to me in the straights, but I know I was not so worried because they're not so good in the corners. And as you can see right away, the Ferrari guy just disappeared a bit away because they're not so good in the corners. So I'm just kind of researching right now. I have a good healthy gap between before me and behind me, so I'm just trying different lines here. And as you can see, that was not a good line because Ferrari almost came close to me. So I'm just now getting back to the pace of the race, gaining some confidence in these corners. Make sure that I don't hit the walls, because if I hit the wall, I not only get damaged, but I also get some time penalties here. So I'm just kind of right now just treating this like a quali map, hitting all the corners perfectly, and just taking it all slow and taking it all easy. So right now I come into this dreaded corner, which is like the narrowest part of this entire track, and I see some yellow flags, and yeah, right there you go. That's the situation where you don't want to end up being against a wall, because that really screws up your entire race. And yeah, now we go to the straight. So this is where the car has a good advantage. So like I said, the Supra that I drive has a good, I think the second most best fastest speed in this track. And yes, that's the guy who hit me in the previous corner, so he had a time penalty, and because of that I gained my position back, which is good. And yeah, now I nailed this corner perfectly. I make sure that I don't go into grass, and yes, now we are on the track. Could have taken that apex a bit better, but yeah, it's at least fine that I didn't crash into it again. So now we take up this corner, and we keep going. And yes, now I see these guys slowly catching up back to the pack, and right now I still want to maintain this healthy gap. Like I said, it's a mind game. Racing sometimes can be a mind game where it's not just you go fast and you just dive bomb into people, but just give them the time to screw up, because sometimes it's a game of attrition. All these guys crash into each other, they mess up their tires, they mess up their cars, and then you have a very good advantage and confidence to take them out even in the corners. So I see a guy before me, he has a penalty clearly, and there's another guy before him. But yes, I'm just maintaining my distance because I don't have any pressure. The guy behind me is like 5 seconds away. So I think that's the Ferrari that we had. So yes, I had a hint of oversteer there. And yes, that's my tip number 4, I would say. Make sure that you get the sensitivity of your turns and the gamepad quite well, because when an oversteer hits up, you could really react to it and save your car from hitting the wall or whatever. So that would be my tip number 4, just adjust it. And yeah, now you see this guy just crashed. And yes, that's what you don't want to do in these games. Take it easy, and somehow someone will just screw up, and it's not always ideal that you count on it, but yes, in a game, in a race like this on Mount Panorama, it's very easy to crash and be messed up because the other guys are crazy. So now I just get a decent exit from there in the last corner onto the straight, and now I see I am quite within the pack's reach, and there are some people still fighting and having penalties, and this guy has a penalty now, and I overtake him, and now I'm in P5 and even P4. And this is where I realize that the leader of the pack is just like 2 seconds ahead of me, and slowly the thought starts to creep inside me, I might actually win this here if I'm being a bit decent at least. I might try to win this. But yes, I don't get excited still. I just take it easy. That's number tip 5, I would say. Never get excited when you're driving, because at this time I remember my hands were literally shaking because I could actually win this. But yeah, don't get excited too much. We still have to focus, we still have to hit all the corners, you have to make sure that you don't understeer, oversteer or underbrake, and just put yourself somewhere in the grass. So slowly I'm starting to gain on these Porsches, which are not so great in a straight line but are really superior in the corners. But yeah, I prefer this car over the Porsche, so I kind of slowly getting into there and trying to have a peak, but I just maintain my distance so that I don't really crash into them, or I don't kind of mess up and get a penalty of 3 or 4 seconds, because that's definitely not what I'm looking forward to do. And now I just kind of take it easy with this. I see a car behind me, but I don't panic. I still am confident that I could hold him up, and I just see and I just make sure that I hit the corners here and don't really hit the wall. So I get pretty close to the wall, I guess, this time, but yeah, it's still okay. And here is the Porsche guy. I think now is where I would have an opportunity, or something would happen in the track if I remember. So yes, this is a corner where I really have to watch. I kind of braked a lot there, because otherwise I would have crashed on the Porsche, got a penalty, but even the guy behind me would have hit me. So kudos to him, he kind of braked well. And now I just try to hit it. As you can see, this guy went a little bit wide and got caught in the grass, and now we are in P3 on the podium. So this is where I got a little bit excited as well, because I know that I'm doing good and I can almost win right now. But yes, I just take it easy anyway. And the leader of the race, he got a penalty and now we are in P2 and we are slowly catching up to P1. I get super excited here, my hands shaking, but yes, I have to take it easy. I just kind of throw a dummy at him, as you could see, trying to make him do a mistake, but so far he is good, he's not so pressurized. So this is where you have to kick your mental games here. Try to like swift left and right and make them panic when they look at the rear views. So yeah, now I just kind of just stay close to him and see if I could overtake him in the straights. And yes, of course he's under pressure because he's suddenly P1. E2 is surprised, like me, to be in P1. So it's just now a matter of keeping up your nerve games. So right now I just kind of slipstream onto him. I see, and I'm slowly catching up, and I'm catching up and gaining and gaining and gaining, and let's see where does it put me. And now I try to make a peak towards the left, and of course I try to go right. But yeah, he's got me covered. He's defending quite good, if not very good. And let's see now. I come up here, I try to be as close to him and try to tightly hug the wall here and make sure that I don't get an oversteer, because that's the last thing I need. And I also have an eye behind me as well. So the guy in front, he's now gaining some confidence. He is really sending it, and he is slowly getting a good healthy lead. But this is the final lap, anything can happen. And so he hits the wall right now, and because of that he got a penalty because he slightly grazed through one of the walls. So that's where this race we have to be very careful. So I go into this dreaded turn, and now we are heading up into the final corner before the straights. So this is where I really should not screw up or lock or brake too much. So I have a decent exit here. If I wouldn't say it was a great one, but all I can count now is on his penalty, which he kind of rammed into one of the walls. So now he's going to serve his penalty. It's not going to be a huge one, but just a small one. But yet he is kind of friend of me. He is a bit he was really generous there, really didn't try to defend, a bit fair. And now I have to not screw up my brakes here. I was really panicked here because it's like the final lap, the final corner, and he's just kind of breathing near my neck right there. Suddenly there's an yellow flag because I think there was a guy somewhere in the front. But anyways, I just keep it clean in the final corner, and that is how I win. So yeah, it was a crazy race because that was literally like the very first race one of the few first race that I rode in this, after a year, but still I managed to win. So yeah, just stick to the basics is what I would say. Just keep relaxed before a race, keep it easy, don't get excited, don't be a hero in the first corner. Make sure your settings on your other things are fine, and yes, especially on your turns, on your sensitivities is all fine, and you could really win a race like this one. So yes, I hope you like this video. So if you do like it, please do subscribe to my channel, and please share it with anyone you think would also like to get some tips on this game. So yeah, thank you all, and see you later. Bye.